Political economy is about studying the economy in its real world context, in its social context, in its historical, geographical, political and cultural context. We explain the economy, its changes, what's occurred, what is happening, what is likely to happen, by focusing on those big issues like climate change, like social movements such as Black Lives Matter, the future of work, social media like Facebook, and even Twitter analyses, uneven growth and development, housing insecurity, financial instability, and a lot more. So we focus on these big real-world issues to explain what's occurring in the economy. But we also do it in a way where we're not using what's called a single or monist approach. We adopt a pluralist approach. We use a range of different perspectives to explain these big real-world issues. Each perspective offers us different insights. So it's like using a set of analytical lenses, because not just one approach can explain everything about the context or the changes that are occurring in the economy. The social science discipline of economics is made up of a range of perspectives, a range of different theories. But the teaching of economics commonly at university is very much a single approach, and it focuses more on developing someone's statistical skills, mathematical modelling. And those, after you've developed those skills, you then apply those to selected issues. Whereas political economy, we start with the real world issue first, we select that first, and then we apply a range of perspectives to it. So big difference is the starting point. Ours is very much on the real world issues, whereas the teaching of economics at university is about developing statistical and mathematical skills. We apply a range of theories, whereas the teaching of economics at university really focuses only on one approach, one very conventional approach.
I chose to study political economy after taking ECOP 1001 as an elective in first year. I found the course really interesting and very critical, more than some of the other things I had been learning about at university. I also am really interested in history, and I liked the historic lens and understanding that political economy provided. It was a way of understanding the world around us and viewing history through a critical lens and thinking about what our future would look like. I took some politics courses, and I think that political economy had a different view in the way it approached ideas like liberalism. I was attracted to political economy because of its critical approach to society, the economy, and history, and the way that it didn't use a hegemonic view of the world, but rather it emphasizes the importance of pluralism and different points of view. Well, I mean, other unis don't have a political economy course.
I first heard about PE because I was a bit of a dissenting economics student in year 12. I was doing quite well in the HSC, but always felt that it was a little bit unsatisfying, but I wasn't really sure why. So I was reading a little bit, and I ended up reading one of Yanis Varoufakis's books, and he talked about PE at Sydney a little bit, and I was intrigued. Getting such a practical and grounded experience of I guess economics that was totally in contrast to what I had in high school really made me engage with the discipline a lot, and engage with the department and with all of its courses. And yeah, by the end of my first year, I loved it, and you know, I'm into my fourth year of it now, and it's fantastic. Yeah, all of the courses that I've done in political economy have been very academically rigorous. They really emphasize like a lot of deep learning about the subject and a lot of reflexivity about methods and methodology and the history of ideas that makes you feel like you're part of this broader tradition, which I just don't think you get in many other arts and social sciences disciplines. And I think feeling like you're part of that discipline, and even, you know, sort of being actively encouraged to be like, no, I'm a post-Keynesian, I'm an institutionalist, these are the ideas I agree with, really makes you feel like you're taking charge of your own learning instead of just being sort of drip fed a preset group of ideas that you either accept or you don't accept. I think that aspect of, a little bit of choose your own adventure with PE is really, really interesting and really engaging. And then, all the classes that I've taken have been fantastic. They've all been really well taught with great tutors and great lecturers and really, really interesting subject matter. So on that front as well, in terms of the interest level and, the level of teaching, it's been terrific. And, I don't know anyone in PE who disagrees. The broader community around PE is really great. Like ECOP SOC is really vibrant, and the Facebook page, and having those really lively intellectual, but also social discussions through the Facebook page, and also having a really close link with faculty members is fantastic, and interacting with them through the ECOP SOC Facebook group, and being actively encouraged to get in touch and discuss these ideas, and being able to read the PPE blog. All that stuff is really fascinating. It makes you feel like you're part of this community.
I am working for Google as a public policy and government affairs manager. We look after all of Google's different products in Australia, all the tools that many of us use every day, but also lots of really interesting public policy questions about internet governance, who should decide what gets to go on the internet, who decides the rules of the road, and how should we develop technologies like artificial intelligence and quantum computing to make sure that they do good in the world.
My name is Bill. I completed my master's degree in political economy a few years ago, and I have been working in the Commonwealth Grants Commission over the last 12 months. What we do here is basically we're looking at distributing GST revenues between states based on their fiscal capacities, their fiscal needs, and so forth. How does that link to my studies in political economy? The ability to assess needs and understand what drives fiscal capacities, wealth between regions in Australia requires a very holistic approach. So it moves where you add dollars and you look at costs, and it requires you to look into broader dynamics, demographics, topographics, historical contingencies, and so forth, legislation. And that is exactly what political economy helped me to understand, helped me to appreciate those different approaches in a holistic way to assess current problems and needs.
I think there were some very helpful concepts I often think about today. Probably the most important one is having a sense of where ideas came from historically, and being able to critically analyse ideas that people have, and knowing what that philosophical and intellectual background is, because I think it is quite common to hear people throw out a concept without really understanding its origin. And actually, the one thing that you used to say that I say to everybody these days and has stuck with me is, don't read someone talking about something, read the source. Read the source itself and make up your own mind. And that is quite genuinely something I still stick to these days.
It's moving beyond having the right or the wrong answer to an issue, but more into understanding the approach, being able to critically reflect on the issue, and have an understanding, focusing on the actual understanding of a problem rather than requiring you to give the right or wrong answer. So that was, I think that was unique, in conjunction, of course, with the plurality of approaches and different views when it comes to looking at issues.
I think I would say leave your preconceived notions at the door. I think one of the things that makes the course really useful that I took is that you do explore a large range of views and schools of thought, and it's really important, especially in these increasingly polarized times, to have an appreciation and some engagement with people who do think differently to you. It's really important for our democracy that people are equipped to have genuine conversations and to have listening skills and to be able to understand where other people are coming from. And you don't have to agree with them, but at least understanding their point of view, I think, will hopefully increase the quality of public debate?
Be ready to challenge yourself and your preconceived notions and views of the world. And, be ready to be challenged and reflect and even change your views. And that is the whole idea, that it's a dynamic environment, that the challenge is ongoing. So what you consider to be right now, today, it might be wrong, or you might revisit the position in a few years' time, and that is good. And that is, not being so change. That I think that's what political economy is all about: change, being more adaptable and more willing to change.